Hello students, myself Dr. Muhammad Ahmed. I welcome you all to the 37th lecture of Mathematics 1. Students, in the previous lecture, we have seen how to find the maxima and minima for a function of two variables. Suppose a function of two variables is given, that is, suppose I am given a function u which depends on two variables x and y, right? Then how to find the maxima and minima for this function. This we have discussed in last class. So according to the procedure, what we have to do, we try to find the stationary points for this function f of x comma y. Stationary points are nothing but the points at which the function may be having a maximum or minimum, right? After getting the stationary points, at each point we try to find whether that function is having maximum or minimum at that point, right? If it is not having, then the point is said to be saddle point. If it is having, then we'll get that maximum value, right? So for that, standard procedure is there that we follow for a given function of two variables u. First we evaluate ux, that is partial derivative of u with respect to x, partial derivative of u with respect to y, then partial derivative of u with respect to xx, partial derivative of u with respect to xy, and last partial derivative of u with respect to yy. All these are denoted by p, q, r, s and t, right? So after getting this, what we do, because we want stationary points are nothing but the points at which the slope of tangent will be 0. Slope of tangent drawn to the graph of the function f of x comma y will be 0. So for that, finding that stationary points, we need to make the slope to be 0. That is, slope here will be given with respect to x, the slope will be given by ux, and with respect to y, the slope will be given by uy, right? So what we do is we equate p equals to 0 and q equals to 0. We equate p and q to 0. Then we will get the values of x and y that will form, or that will give us the stationary point or points. Sometimes we will get one stationary point, or sometimes we will get more number of stationary points, right? After getting the stationary points, then at each stationary point x comma y, we find the values of r, s, t. Then after that, what we do, we find rt minus s square. If this is greater than 0 and r is also greater than 0, then f of x comma y will be having a minimum at that specific stationary points. If rt minus s square is greater than 0 and r is less than 0, then the function f of x comma y will be having a maximum at that stationary point, right? If this rt minus s square is less than 0, then that stationary point is said to be saddle point, right? And if rt minus s square is equal to 0, then we cannot give any conclusion about maximum and minimum. So further investigation is required. Further investigation is needed. So this was the procedure that we have followed to find the maxima or minima when no condition is given on the variables. That is, this maxima and the minima is called as without constraints. No condition will be given on the variables x and y. Such a maxima or minima is called as without constraint. Now we are going to see maxima and minima with constraint, right? Or it is also called as constrained maxima or minima. So let us put the side heading for today's topic, that is constrained maxima and minima. Right, in this we will be having a 3 variable function. Let u equals to f of x comma y comma z. consider this as 1, be a function of 3 variables. So what I am having a function f u which depends on 3 variables x, y, z. Suppose these variables where these x, y or z are related by a condition which is given by phi of x comma y comma z equals to some 0 or some c. Consider this as 2. So you observe that not only a function is given here, a function is given in 3 independent variables x, y, z, where these independent variables x, y, z are related by this condition, that is phi of x comma y comma z equals to c. We will see in problems that this condition will be generally x plus y plus z equals to some constant, or x minus y plus z equals to some constant. Some kind of condition will be given on x, y, z. So what we have to do here is we try to find the value of z from this second condition. We find z in terms of x and y. We find z in terms of x and y, then that z will be substituted in 1, right? After finding the value of z in terms of x and y from 2, that z value will be substituted in 1. Then u will become a function of x, y only. So z will be eliminated from this condition. Then u will be a function of x and y only. When u is a function of x and y, then we know from the previous method that how to find the maximum and minimum, right? The simple procedure we have to follow is just we have to find the value of z from this in terms of x, y and substitute in 1. Then u will become a function of x, y. Again, for finding the maximum and minimum for a function of 2 variables, already we know the procedure. The same procedure we have to follow here. So what we are going to do here is find z from 2 in terms of x and y and put or substitute in 1. Then what will happen? Then u becomes a function of x and y only, right? That is what will happen when you substitute z value in u, then u will become a new function in terms of x and y, capital F of x comma y. You consider this as some 3. Then what we can do? We can find maxima or minima of 3 by using previous method. Right? So this is what the procedure for constrained maxima and minima. See, in without constraint only 2 variables will be given, and in with constraint 3 variables will be given in the question, and those 3 variables will be related with a condition. Now from that condition we have to find the value of z, substitute back this value in 1, then 1 will become a function of x and y. That is equation 3, right? Now when u is a function of x and y, we know the procedure for finding maxima and minima for this function u, right? Now we'll consider the problems related to this constrained maxima and minima. So we'll consider the first problem. So problems. First problem is find the maxima and minima of one function is given x square plus y square plus z square, where these variables x, y and z are connected by one relation is given, x plus y plus z equals to 3. one condition is given on xyz, which is x plus y plus z equals to 3a, and function is given to be x square plus y square equals to z square, right? So how to solve this? As I told you, from the condition, let us write down what is the function and what is the condition. Let u equals to the given function x square plus y square plus z square. Consider this as some 1, right? And what is given? One condition is given, and x plus, and given is a condition which is x plus y plus z equals to 3a. As I told you, from this we have to find the value of z. So z will be 3a minus x minus y. Now this z value should be substituted in 1. Therefore, from 1, what will happen? U equals to x square plus y square, then plus z square. Z is nothing but here 3a minus x minus y whole square, right? We got u in terms of x and y. Now to find the maximum and minimum for this u, we follow the previous procedure. That is, we have to find p, q, r, s, t. Then we have to equate p and q to 0, find the stationary points. Then at each stationary point, we have to evaluate the values of r, s, t. Then find rt minus s square, and so on so forth. That procedure we will follow now. So we are having u equals to x square plus y square plus 3a minus x minus y whole square. So we will find p. Now what we are doing, we are finding p. P is nothing but ux, partial derivative of u with respect to x. So what we will get? X square derivative is 2x, y square derivative is 0. With respect to x we are differentiating, so 2 into remaining 3a minus x minus y, right? And internal derivative, this is the derivative of 3a minus x minus y whole square, right? And internal derivative is 3a derivative is 0, minus x derivative is minus 1, y derivative is 0. Now simplify this. So what we will get here is 2x minus 6a plus 2x plus 2y. Just to simplify this, 4x plus 2y minus 6a, right? Consider this as some equation 2, or what we don't need to consider equation because directly p means this, right? Now what is q? Q is uy. You have to differentiate u with respect to y. X square derivative with respect to y is 0, y square derivative is 2x plus 2 into 3a minus x minus y. Again internal derivative with respect to y will give us minus 1, because 3a derivative will be 0, minus x derivative will be 0, minus y derivative with respect to y is minus 1. So what will remain? 2x, sorry, here we will get 2y here, because we are differentiating this u with respect to y, no? So x square derivative will become 0, y square derivative is 2y. So what we will get here? 2y minus 6a plus 2x plus 2y. Simplify this, what we will get? 4y, 2y plus 2y, 2y plus 2y is 4y, and here 2x plus 2x minus 6a, right? We got p and q. Now we have to find r. R is uxx. So partial derivative of ux with respect to x. Here ux is this. We have to differentiate this with respect to x. What we will get? 4 we will get, right? Same way we have to find r, s. We have to find s, which is u xy. We have to differentiate ux with respect to y. Ux is this. We have to differentiate this with respect to y. Derivative of this will be 0. Derivative of 2y will be 2. Derivative of minus 6a will be 0. So after rs, last we have to find t, which is uyy. Already uy is 4y plus 2x minus 6. We have to differentiate this with respect to y. We will get 4 plus 2x derivative is 0, minus 6a derivative is 0. So we got p, q, r, s, t. Then what we have to do now? We have to equate p equals to 0 and q equals to 0. When p is equals to 0, what we will get? See, this is equals to 0, that is 4x plus 2y minus 6a equals to 0, which is nothing but you divide the whole equation with 2, we will get 2x plus y minus 3a, or that can be written as equal to 3a, right. Same way here 4y plus 2x minus 6a equal to 0. The same way it will be 2y plus x equals to 3a, right. Consider this as equation 2 and this as equation 3. Now we have to solve these two equations to get the values of x and y. What we are going to do is multiply the second equation with x and subtract that from 2, that is 2 minus 2 into 3. So what will happen, this implies what will happen here, this 2x and this minus 2x will get cancelled. Here what will remain, y minus 4y, which is nothing but minus 3y, and here 3a minus 6a, it will become 3a into minus 2 is minus 6a, 3a minus 6a is nothing but minus 3a. So what we will get, y equals to a we will get. When y is a, substitute that in second equation. So what will happen from second equation, what we will get, 2x plus y is a now, equals to 3a. Therefore 2x equals to 2a, which implies x equals to a. So the stationary point is, therefore stationary point is a comma a. So we got the stationary point which is a comma a. So after getting the stationary point, what we have to do, at this stationary point we have to evaluate the values of r, s and t. So at a comma a, what are the values of r? R is 4 only, because there is no x and y. If x and y are there, we have to substitute that. So s is 2 only and t is 4. Then after that what we have to do, we have to evaluate rt minus s square, which is nothing but rt minus s square equals to rt. Rt is 4 into 4 is 16 minus s square is 2 square is 4. So 16 minus 4 is 12, which is greater than 0. And what is r? Rt minus s square, we got it to be greater than 0, positive. Now r equals to 4, which is also positive. So rt minus s square is greater than 0, r is greater than 0. Therefore what we can say, therefore the function u is minimum at the point a comma a. U is minimum at the point a comma a, right. And the minimum value is, what is the minimum value? See, we have to substitute this a comma a in the function u. See, u is here x square plus y square plus 3a minus x minus y whole square. Substitute that. So what we will get, a square, x square means a square, y square means a square, right. Then 3a minus x minus y. So 3a minus a whole square. How we are getting this? We are substituting a comma a here, a square plus 3a minus a whole square. So simplify this. What we will get? Here plus should be there, here one plus should be there, right. So 2a square we will get here, and plus 3a minus a is a square. So finally we will get 3a square. This is the maximum value, so this is the minimum value of the function, which is 3a square, and it is obtained, that this minimum is obtained at the point a comma a. This we are saying because after getting the stationary point, what we have done is we have evaluated rt minus s square, which is 16 minus 4, which is 12, greater than 0, and r is 4, which is also greater than 0. When rt minus s square is greater than 0 and r is greater than 0, according to the procedure, the function f of x comma y or the function u will be attain the minimum at the point, at that stationary point, which is a comma a, and that minimum value is given by 3a square, right. We are going to see one more problem related to this constrained maxima and minima. Okay, the second problem is find the extreme values of given function is xyz. Find the extreme values of xyz when x plus y plus z equals to 3, right. This is the question, and this question was asked in December 2015, for 5 marks. For LAQ question it was asked. Right, now we'll see the solution of this, how to find the maximum and minimum for the given function xyz. So first of all we have to consider this function xyz as u, which is xyz. This is given. Also given, what is the condition given on the variables? That is the constraint. This is the constraint maxima and minima. Before that, find the extreme values. Means it can be maxima or it can be minima. It can be maximum or minimum. We have to find the maximum or minimum values of the function, right? So that is what we are going to do now. We are going to find maxima or minima. If the question is find the extreme values or find the minimum maximum, discuss the maximum minimum, the same procedure we have to follow, right? From the given condition we have to find the value of z and substitute in the function, in the given function, then find the maxima and minima by using the procedure that we have discussed, right? Also given x plus y plus z equals to 3. Now from this we can find z, which is given by 3 minus x minus y. Now let us substitute this value of z in 1. So from 1, what will happen? From 1, u equals to xy into z. Z is 3 minus x minus y, which is 3xy minus x square y minus xy square, right? This is u. So what we have done here is we computed the value of z from this, which is 3 minus x minus y, then that we have substituted in u, which is xy into 3 minus x minus y. When we simplified this, we got it to be 3xy minus x square y minus xy square, right? This is u now. So it depends on only two variables, x and y. So we have to find maxima and minima for this function u. According to the procedure, first we have to find p, which is ux, that is partial derivative of u with respect to x. What we will get? Derivative of 3xy. Derivative of 3xy with respect to x is 3y minus derivative of x square y is 2xy. Derivative of xy square is y square. So we got 3y minus 2xy minus y square, and the same way we find what is q. We find q, which is q equals to uy. What is uy? Uy is the partial derivative of u with respect to y. So what we will get? 3x minus x square minus 2xy, right? This is q. Then we find r, which is uxx. So partial derivative of ux with respect to x. What we will get? 0. 3y derivative is 0, minus 2xy derivative is minus 2y, and minus y square derivative is also 0. So then we will find r, which is uxy, partial derivative of ux with respect to y. What we will get? 3 minus 2xy derivative will be 2x minus y square derivative will be 2y. So we got s. Then after finding p, q, r, s, we have to find t, which is uyy. So partial derivative of uy with respect to y. Partial derivative of uy with respect to y. Uy is this, we have to differentiate this with respect to y. What we will get? Derivative of 3x is 0, derivative of x square is 0, derivative of minus 2xy. What we will get? Minus 2x, right? So we got all the required things, that is p, q, r, s, t. Now we have to equate p to 0 and q to 0. So when we equate p equal to 0, what we will get? 3y minus 2xy minus y square equals to 0. And the same way, if we equate q to 0, then we will get 3x minus x square minus 2xy equals to 0. Now this can be written as, you take y common from this. When we take y common from this, what will remain? Y minus 2x minus y equals to 0. The same way, you take x common here. When we take x common, 3 minus x minus 2y, that is equals to 0. So what will happen? Therefore, from the first equation, from the second equation, you consider this as you consider this as 2 and this as 3, right? Now what we can do is, from 2 and 3 we will get either xy, x equals to 0, y equals to 0, or we will get 3 minus 2x minus y equals to 0, and the second equation is 3 minus x minus 2y equal to 0. We will get these two equations. Consider this as some 4 and this as 5. Now we have to solve these two equations to get the values of x and y. You multiply the fifth equation with the 2 and subtract from 4. So 4 minus, what we are going to do is 4 minus 2 into 5. So what will happen? 3 minus 2x minus y equals to 0 will be as it is. Then the second equation will become, because we are multiplying with 2, so 6 minus, because we are doing minus now, so this will minus, this will be plus 2x and plus 2y equal to 0. So what will happen? This 2x 2y will get cancelled. Here we will get minus 3 plus y equals to 0, which is nothing but, from this we will get y equals to 3. Sorry, here sorry, I did a small mistake here. If we see carefully here what will happen? See, first equation will be as it is, 3 minus 2x minus y equals to 0 will be as it is, and in the second equation 3 minus x minus 2y equals to 0 is there, and we are multiplying this with minus 2. So what will happen? This 3 will become minus 6, this minus x will become plus 2x, and minus 2y will become plus 4y. This will become 4y plus 4y, right, plus 4y. So what will happen? Here minus 3 and here plus 4y minus y will give us plus, so here we will get, first we will get minus 3 here and here plus 3y. So 3y equals to 3 we will get, then ultimately y will be 1. We got y equals to 1. When y is 1, substitute this y equals to 1 in first equation, that is fourth equation. So from 4, what will happen? 3 minus 2x minus y is 1 now equals to 0. Then this implies 2x equals to, you take this minus 2x to right hand side, then 2 will remain. So x is also equal to 1. Therefore, 2 stationary points we got. Therefore, stationary points are first stationary point is 0, 0 and second stationary point is 1, 1. So now at these stationary points, what we have to do? We have to evaluate at each stationary point. Consider 0, 0 and evaluate r, s and t. Then find rt minus s square and try to give the conclusion. So for next we have to consider the second stationary point, that is 1, 1, evaluate r, s, t, then rt minus s square and try to give the conclusion. The same procedure we have to follow for each stationary point. Now first consider the first stationary point at 0, 0. What will happen? At 0, 0, what is r? See, r is minus 2y, r is here minus 2y, and x and y both are 0. So r will be 0, r will be 0, s will be 3, see 3 minus 0 and minus 0. So s will be 3 only. Then t will also be minus 2x, no, it will also become 0. Then find rt minus s square. So what will happen? rt is 0 minus s square is 3 square is 9, which is minus 9 less than 0, right? rt minus s square is less than 0. If rt minus s square is less than 0, then what we can say? Therefore, the point 0, 0 is a saddle point, right? 0, 0 is a saddle point. That is, no minima or maxima will be obtained at the point 0, 0. Now we will consider the second point, which is 1, 1. So at 1, 1, what will happen with r and s and t? We have to see what is r. According to the definition, according to the calculation, r is minus 2y. So minus 2 into 1. So we will get minus 2 only. S is, see, s is 3 minus 2x minus 2y. So what will get? X place 1, y in place of y also 1. So 3 minus 2 minus 2 is 3 minus 4, which is minus 1. So s is minus 1, right? Same way t is minus 2x here and x is 1. So we will get minus 2. Here also we will get minus 2. We got r, s, t, which are minus 2, minus 1 and minus 2, minus 2. So we will compute now rt minus s square, which is equal to rt. Minus 2 into minus 2, minus s square is minus 1 whole square. So what we will get? 4 minus 1 is 3, right? 3 is positive. So RT minus S square is greater than 0, positive, and what will happen? R equals to minus 2, which is less than 0. So R is less than 0. RT minus S square is greater than 0 and R is less than 0. Therefore, what we can say? Therefore, the function U has a maximum at 1 comma 1, right? And the maximum value is given by, and maximum value is, what is the function U equals to? See, the function is U equals to, here is the function U equals to 3xy minus x square y minus xy square. So x in place of x and y we have to put 1 1. So 3 minus 1 minus 1. So 3 minus 1 minus 1, which is nothing but 1, right? So maximum value of the function is 1, and this maximum is obtained at the point 1 comma 1. And 0 comma 0 is also a stationary point, but because we are getting RT minus S square to be less than 0 at 0 comma 0, so that is why 0 comma 0 is a saddle point and 1 comma 1 is a stationary point, and at this point the function is maximum, and the maximum value is given by, how to find the maximum value? Just we have to substitute that maximum point in the given function, that is U. So that is that will become 3 minus 1 minus 1, because xy are there here, xy are there here, and xy values are 1 1. So 3 minus 1 minus 1, which is nothing but 1. So this is how we find the maxima and minima when a 3 variable function along with a condition is given. So such a maxima and minima is called as constrained maxima and minima. So basically what we are doing here is, one function will be given in terms of 3 variables x, y, z. Along with that, one condition will be given. From that condition we have to evaluate the value of z and substitute back in the given function. Then the function will become a function in 2 variables, u, x and y. U will be a function of x and y. So already in last class we have discussed the procedure for finding maxima and minima when a function in 2 variables is given. So by following that procedure we have to give the maxima and minima for u, right? So this is what the procedure we follow for solving the problems. And in the next class we will see one important method called Lagrange's method of undetermined multipliers. That is also that is also used to find the maxima and minima for a given function with constraint. So that will be discussed in next class. I am going to end today's session here. See you in the next class.